I'm going to make the case that might sound like a hot take, but stick with me here. I think Barry Sanders is the greatest running back of all time, and the debate isn't as close as you might think. Now, hear me out. I know what you're thinking. We're conditioned to usually measure greatness in the NFL by Super Bowl rings, long careers, and all-time records. But those numbers just don't capture the whole truth of what number 20 was. He was a human glitch in the matrix of professional football, a player who broke the laws of physics and geometry on a weekly basis, making our heads spin. I'm here to make a definitive case on why I think Barry Sanders is the GOAT at running back. Barry Sanders' greatness wasn't just about his elusive jukes or his ankle-breaking highlights. It was his robot-like production that he seemed to spew out on repeat. And because he also played for the fucking Detroit Lions. But even playing in an era full of hard-hitting defenses and terrible turf, Sanders was the poster boy for consistency. And every single season he played in the NFL, he rushed for over 1,000 yards. And yeah, I mean every single year. To the point where he was putting up video game-like numbers like you see in Madden. And I'm talking about his 1,400-yard season in his rookie year in 1989, his 1,500-yard season in 1991, and his 1,800-yard season in 1994. And these weren't even his peak. And of course, he made the Pro Bowl all 10 of his seasons in the NFL. Now you're starting to realize his greatness just a little bit. This wasn't just a player who had a few great years and fizzled out towards the latter years of their career. He was a great player for his entire career. And when we add more context to his situation, remember when I said he played for the shitty Detroit Lions? Their offense basically revolved entirely around Barry Sanders. It's not like he didn't have other weapons. He had 2 Pro Bowl receivers like Herman Moore and Brett Perriman on his offense. But every coordinator in the league knew that going on Sunday, going against the Detroit Lions, number 20 was priority 1A, 1B, and even 1C. And for 10 years, those same defensive coordinators had a bunch of game film to plan around him, and they still couldn't stop him. He led the league in rushing 4 times, and his only lowest rushing total for a full season was 1,115 yards. That's unheard of, and that was just his floor. That's not just being good, that's being historically dominant. But none of those accolades come even close to what I think is arguably one of the greatest individual seasons from a player in NFL history. While I think his consistency is immortal, this is where we talk about his incredible 1997 season. That year, he wasn't playing football. He entered God mode. The numbers on this, insane. 2,053 rushing yards. Was only the 3rd player in history to cross that 2,000-yard mark, and he was named league co-MVP. And what makes the story even crazier is that just in the first 2 games of the season, he only had 53 rushing yards combined, which means in those final 14 games, he ran for exactly 2,000 yards and didn't have a single game of under 100 yards rushing. He was on a historic run. 2 of those games he averaged over 200 plus yards, which includes a 215-yard game against the Buccaneers and 216-yard game against the Colts. Master classes. He was setting a statement to the entire league. He averaged 6 yards per carry for the entire year. He was telling defensive coordinators that even if you plan around him, there's no stopping him. But even after this peak season, I still think that this next case will ultimately prove why I think that he's the greatest running back of all time. When you talk about the greatest of all time from any sport, I think you talk about the unique magic that they usually all bring to the game. And I think what the true magic of Barry Sanders was his ability to create something out of absolutely nothing. There's usually a running myth that Barry Sanders played behind a bad offensive line, and he did have Pro Bowl linemen over there in Detroit. But you wouldn't compare his offensive line to someone like Emmitt Smith, who played for the Dallas Cowboys. And this is where I think Barry's magic truly shines. The highlights usually only show you him getting to the end zone, but they don't show you the beginning parts of how he got there in the first place. Most of his touchdown runs started dead on arrival, with defenders already being in the backfield by the time the handoff came. For any other running back, that's a tackle for loss, 4 or 5 yard losses. For Barry, it was magic already started. It's like he had this gift for turning a busted play into a 20-yard, 30-yard gain, or even a touchdown. Barry's running style wasn't always just to take as many yards as he could get. He was always trying to go for the home run. the big shot. And there's a story of Minnesota Vikings defensive line coach ability to create magic from chaos is why I think Barry Sanders is the greatest running back of all time. Real quick before we get to the end of this video, if you enjoyed this video so far, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to see any more videos like this, please just comment or name a player that you want me to do next. But without further ado, man, let's get to the end of this video. Peace. In 1999, just before training camp, Barry Sanders shocked the world by retiring from the game of football. He was only just 31 years old, which is pretty young, and he was 1,400 yards away from breaking Walter Payton's all-time rushing record, which by that time, everybody assumed he was going to break. It's a double-edged sword. See, it props up his legendary status from what he was able to achieve in just 10 seasons. But in another way, on the other side of the spectrum, I think it undermines his greatness because of what he could have been. He didn't care about the stats or the glory. All he cared about was handing the ball off to the referee on every one of his 109 career touchdowns. He played the game because he loved it, and when that feeling faded, he decided to leave, even leaving a massive contract and leaving the all-time rushing record on the table. I think his sudden exit made us forget how dominant he was over time. We forget the 1,000-yard consistent rushing seasons. We forget the 1997 season where he had 2,000 plus yards rushing, and that 14-game stretch of over in 2004, which was his first year of eligibility. And now, when you see the case laid out on the table for you, when you look at the complete picture, his insane consistency, 1,000 yards every single year in his 10 years in the NFL, his amazing peak, 2,000 yards rushing and league MVP, and his unique magic to be able to create something out of nothing, even when it looked like a tackle for loss. I think you can see now why the case should be undeniable. In my opinion, to me, he's not just a highlight reel. He was and is the greatest running back to ever do it. Let me know in the comments if you think there's another player that has a better case. But this is my case for greatest running back of all time, for Barry Sanders. Thank you so much for watching.